for time memorial. This is even if it's a current game that's being played, it still got something to do with you. You just don't walk away from it in the stupor altogether. And the only thing that we have left is whatever has remained of the Christian church. But I have not seen one pastor, one reverend. I have not seen none of these people come out speaking about this administration or defending King. You feel me? When it's very clear, or it should be, they're going to play stupid until it's too late, right? What this administration is attempting to do by destroying, right, the name of the King, whacking out his mural.
Back to Kendrick.
So we're back in New Orleans.
Yep.
Right? We're back in New Orleans with a Super Bowl. This is a mirror matchup of 2 years ago. Right? Who are the Chiefs? The indigenous people. Who are the Eagles?
The bald eagle.
Right?
Yeah.
The U.S. government.
Yep.
The current administration. Because specifically they said that they represent the Republic. Mm-hmm. So this ain't the administration from D.C. This is the initial installment of the government that was in Philadelphia. Right?
Come on. Wow.
When the Republic was here.
Yeah.
Shake 'em, mix 'em. So it's weird, but it's playing out. And I'm seeing this administration beat the feathers out of the indigenous people right now in real life. Not in fake life. On my timeline. They're being round up in the deport, and they're attempting to change the laws on them by saying what? And this, shout out to the Moors, they're saying they're not citizens.
Good people. What's up? What's good, man? I'm blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. Today, we got a very special guest in the building, man. One of my favorites, bro. So, man, this conversation is going to be very timely. It's needed. Something that's very just particular to what's going on right now, Blue, is the person who is behind you right now, Martin Luther King. Right now, man, Donald Trump, he's been talking about releasing these files that you guys have already been talking about, all the master teachers, you know, for decades. But now it's like, they're trying to erase Martin Luther King and his legacy, right? Of now, you know, saying, oh, he was active in the orgies and he was doing this, that, and the third. And we trying to take away Martin Luther King Day potentially because all of this is coined DEI. And on your live, Blue, man, earlier, you know, you were talking about how the fires, it was going on back then with King when he was assassinated and how throughout the 13 cities, it was the fires and the riots.
68.
Right now, we got fires right now. So, Blue, what are your personal thoughts about everything that's going on right now with Trump?
There's a lot of overlapping, you know, things that are at play right now. You know that I decode utilizing the number 44. Right. You know what I'm saying? We're not new to that on this platform. I don't know if I've given the fullest extent of it. Yeah. But in short order, when Obama became the 44th president, I knew that it was 44 years after the Civil Rights Act, and I knew that King was assassinated on April 4th. So me, you know, being taught to pattern recognize, right, by the master teachers, they always taught us to notice patterns. And same way that they tell people follow the money is the same way that we need to follow patterns as decoders. Yeah. And I was infatuated with the number 44 because of the design of it, and my grandfather was very enthused about the number 4. So he would repeat things about the number 4 to me. Like, you know, some of the elders, they'll tell you the same thing 30 times in one day. And my grandfather was like that. I don't know if it was dementia, but he just rattled the same thing over and over. And it was repetitious enough where it was part of my subconscious. Yeah. So when I encountered the number 44, I could not ignore it because I was already pushed and compelled by my grandfather to always treat the number 4 special. As a twin, I'm like, okay, well, 44 is the twin 4s. Yeah, so I put the Obama thing together. Also understood with presidential politics that Obama was the 43rd person to occupy the seat of president. Grover Cleveland did what Trump previously has just done in terms of occupying 2 different administrations in one lifetime. So Grover Cleveland was the 22nd. He lost the 23rd, and he was the 24th president. So Obama was the 43rd person to occupy that seat. Obama initially pegged Trump to run. Trump was a birther first. And a birther was the conspiracy theorist who believed that Obama was born in Kenya and therefore ineligible to be president. He was the largest and the most famous vocalist of this quote unquote conspiracy theory. And then now we can see how these things, generate in chat rooms and comment sections, to the point where we're looking at Michelle Obama is in People magazine and they're repeating rumors. No facts, no information, just, rumors and innuendo on the internet are enough now to make national headlines. Yeah. So Trump was famously a birther, and he was riding the coattails of Obama. He was trolling him in so many words. Obama returned the favor at the Al Smith charity dinner, and he roasted Donald Trump in front of all of his colleagues and compatriots, and his feelings were hurt. You know what I'm saying? We know about Donald Trump and his ego, and if some of us from New York know how he feels about melanated people. You know what I'm saying? So he took extra exception to being humiliated by Obama and made a vendetta that he's gonna cannibalize him, devour him. He became his doppelganger, and I just saw him use the fuel of his hatred for this individual, what he represent. I don't know if he hates the man, because there's a weird infatuation with the people that you hate that are so great. You know what I'm saying? But he knew that he can play to a base that really had a distaste, because it interrupted, their concept of Americanism. It interrupted their concept of privilege. Yeah. They're like, if we did what we did to obtain this country, why should we share it with anyone? That man has me feeling nervous and not secure in my whiteness. So Trump was able to appeal to a base that dream had been shattered. Their version of their American dream had been shattered by this acceleration of this dream that was not deferred, where Obama will now become the crystallized version of King's dream. Right? So now it's a battle of idiots, a battle of ideals and dreams. The base that Obama's speaking to, the base that Trump is speaking to, they've been salty since we got off plantations and we was able to outwit Jim Crow. And, this man was assassinated, and to quell the protests, legislation, there was things done and what have you. And then going back to 64, the Civil Rights Act, you know what I'm saying? They have been looking to repeal that because they felt that they had to unfairly, tuck their tails, put their fangs up, you know what I'm saying? And be partial to people who they felt were non-deserving of partiality, because they feel that they beat, their opponents fair and square. This is how they've been raised. Mm-hmm. So the minute Trump gets in there, he cannibalizes all of the past, accomplishments of Obama. He just devours everything that's been done, going for the main thing, which was Obamacare, which he wasn't necessarily successful with. Mm-hmm. But, he's just been devouring them along the way. And then when I see, how things played out with this particular inauguration, and I see Michelle is protesting, she knows that her man is capitulating, you know what I'm saying? And, it's almost like, I don't know if everybody in the audience saw the second Matrix, when Agent Smith was able to morph into one of the agents and make it into Zion, and he just started destroying things. So that's kind of like, Trump is like, I already got you kissing the ring. I've already destroyed the legacy. I already sat down Joe and vanquished Kamala. Let me go all the way back in the legacy. Let me tear all of the wallpaper down, because his campaign, again, to make America great again, is a continuation of Ronald Reagan. So this was the dream of Republicans then, which was an extension of what Nixon started, ironically, right? And Jimmy Carter was a part of, unfortunately, to undo the legislation put together by LBJ. So here comes the double prong effect of him destroying and denuding the competition by sprinkling salt in the game. He's like, I'm not only going to destroy the legacy of King, I'm going to destroy the legacy of the Democrats by showing LBJ has something to do with JFK's assassination, right? Yeah. And, I'm going to put them all in this communist socialist bag because we need a red enemy. So King was a communist. LBJ was a communist sympathizer, and these social programs, because the Great Society Act comes from LBJ, welfare, Medicaid, Medicare, health, Head Start, WIC, all of the programs, right, that you're seeing legislation or exemptions from, they're like, this could still run, but this can't because we put an end to these social programs. It's not just DEI. DEI is this is the fingernail on the hand that was civil rights that became mutated, as Claude Anderson tells you, right around the time of the Nixon administration when they started applying all of these different meanings to what a minority was. So thus opens the floodgates, right, to mass immigration with people who have now figured out how to play the game. This would be the Caribbean population. This would be, just indigenous populations, Africans, you know what I'm saying? And ultimately it grows and morphs into later on the LGBTQ and everything else that goes along and women and everything. The Republicans have officially now become the they not like us party, right? Everything that's non-MAGA is they. Everything that's us is U.S. and is America first. Whatever that looks like, they are reformatting, reshaping, and reframing what that means, right? They are refurbishing the identification of what a U.S. citizen means or what it means to be American. So this, and again, and with that comes a new dream, and with that comes a new king. So on the day that he's inaugurated, right, the last piece of legislation that was handed to him on his desk, right, he was shooting them executive orders off the Resolute desk. Yes, the last one underneath the pile was the what's the word that I'm looking for? It is the reaffirmation, recertification of the Martin Luther King Day as a federal holiday. He did not sign it.
Wow.
They cut the cameras off, first of all, but this footage has come out from cameras that were still playing. So he got everybody out the room, cut the cameras off, and his aide handed him the last piece. He had to ratify it. That's what the word I'm looking for. To ratify MLK as a federal holiday, as a continuance. He was like, nah, get that out of here. The next day you go on the White House website and there's a 404 sign up. And we all know what that means on the internet. This page is not available. So we are currently under an administration where this man has violated King, reinstalled himself on his day as the new king, destroyed the dream, attacked the dreamers, right? Yeah, because the birthright citizens are the children that are considered the dreamers that are part of, right? And that came about with the 44th president, because I believe Obama was the one that created the legislation to make dreamers. Yes, sir. Right? So my theorem that I utilize is called the three kings. This is what I use with my law of 44. It's MLK. So they all got three things in common: king, dream, and the number 44. So MLK is I have a dream, assassinated on April 4th, right? And Martin Luther King, his first name was Mikhail initially, right? Biggie Smalls kicking the door, waving a 4-4. It was all a dream. King of New York, right? Barack Hussein Obama. Hussein means king. He's a Leo, king, leader of the free world, king. So he's the thrice king. 44 president happens to be Dreams of His Father was the book that he wrote that initially made it, where he told his narrative and his story where he first got the look. So these thematic individuals are all being attacked. The Biggie Small dream, we've been standing on it and saying that, again, what other men outside of King, once he's been assassinated, have we referred to in our community as kings? We gave King of New York the bill, and people were hoping that Barack would be the king for them, that Trump is for white America, right? Or for the MAGA crowd, because that is inclusive of Indo-Aryans. Understanding where Aryans come from, then we would understand their relationship with these Indians. we also would understand their infatuation with space, or Mars in particular, because Aryan means Aries. It was established under the quote-unquote cosmological sign of the age of Aries. This is when the Indo-Aryans invaded, right? The quote-unquote Dravidians, or the untouchables, the melanated Indians came. That's when the caste system, this is when race was created, right? Some light-skinned niggas got the drop on some heavy melanated ones, and everything changed from that point. And here we are. So yeah, it's what they call in the esoteric circle the killing of the king ritual. You devour your enemy. You know what I'm saying? And you become a version of him once you devour him. So they are this administration's policy is chaos, right? As the first administration, when he was in, it was chaos magic then, it's chaos magic now. But this chaotic magic is a little bit more contrived and orderly. I think they're using ChatGPT.
Blue, to your point, this type of chaos, 2016, it was there, but this one is feeling completely different. And I think black people, seeing President Obama laughing with Trump, it showed them they had all y'all fighting, defending the blue party, the Democrats, just for the quote unquote king of the Democratic Party to be sitting down with Trump, laughing, kissing the ring. Optic wise, what did you think, Blue, from seeing President Obama sitting beside Trump, laughing, his wife not being present? How did you feel about that?
Like I said, it represented the capitulation. You know what I'm saying? The genuflection, the bending at the knee to the king to say, you know what I'm saying? Could we all just get along? I see what you did. I got an idea what you're about to do. Show some mercy, you know? And to him, it's never personal. I actually kind of like you, but I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? I was sent to do this, and I'm going to get it done. And I never thought that I would have the ability to come this far and like actually get the whole job done. Like y'all messed up big time. You know what I'm saying? So Wreck-It Ralph, he's like, yo, I'm back in the house with Wreck-It Ralph. And with a vendetta, with a chip on my shoulder, with all the excuses in the world that I need to go, ham hock, with all of the backing, you know what I'm saying? And there's also in the world of the real estate agents in their priesthood in particular, they have this whole thing about the 44th king of Israel, and that being the last one or the last president. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of things like prophetically wise that are playing out that if you got the eyes to see, we've read all of this stuff. We've been studious about these things, and to see them play out in this manner, it's unprecedented. You know what I mean? And then there's more layers to it. There's more layers.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, in the midst of all of this, you know what I'm saying? My message is always to remain unapologetically optimistic. We're looking at political theater, and again, for us and my ilk, people who are researchers and decoders, we always said that there would be a time like this. And I think that, yes, we are at their extremes. And we knew that before this thing flamed out, it would have to be at its extremes. I think that, although what we're looking at seems to be very calculated and it seems to be, very contrived, I think that there's a lot of missteps that are taking place. I think that the universe always has the last laugh. I think that even what we've seen with DeepSeek and the checkmate, right, from China, again, is a wake-up call from the universe to say, man plans, but Allah is the best of planners, and they think they got it figured out, and I'm going to embarrass them every step of the way. But do y'all have the eyes to see? And then do you have the conviction to do about something with the things that you see? Because you're not going to combat this by being complacent. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that don't mean that you got to get outside and march. It's like, what about in your heart? You know what I'm saying? you shouldn't be complacent in your heart. You shouldn't be complacent in your mind. You shouldn't be complacent in your community. You shouldn't be complacent in your personal space in terms of, again, this is why we saying training has to be the utmost importance to men and women in our community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you got to be on go time.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Trump is doing to America what Kendrick did to hip hop last year.
Clean the house.
Turning it upside down.
Wow.
Cleaning the house and making people pay for being co-signers and not gatekeepers, and allowing, right, the BSing.
Yeah.
Because we got caught with our pants down. There was a lot of BS. When they start pouring that stuff on the table, and it's like, you can't, like, damn, you can't even take ownership of that. You be like, damn, that was admixtured in with our cause as a people, with our rights as a people,
right,
with our forward and upward mobility as a people. We got bundle packaged in with this stuff over here. And this is no disrespect to anybody in their affiliation, persuasions, or what have you. But yeah, man, we always get bundle packaged, bro. And it's not fair. Yeah. And now I think it's we're a segment of us are unjustly going to pay a cost, you know what I'm saying, for something that we never really saw the value in to begin with.
Wow. Bundle package, Blue, I think about DEI instantly and us being grouped in when it comes towards minorities, people of color. They call it BIPOC now. And I know, I'm like, white women are the number one minority, right? That's what people don't like to talk about when it comes towards affirmative action. We've seen it at Harvard where, the Asian community said, oh, let's take it away. And then black people, our numbers, acceptance rates start to go up even more without affirmative action, but the Asians started to lower. So it showed y'all actually benefit more than us. So, man, if you can just break down this whole DEI concept, why is this used as like such a big buzzword right now? You hear them say, oh, she's a DEI hire. It's a buzzword now. What exactly do you think about DEI right now?
And again, like I said, when our politics got coupled in with everybody else's, so it's easy for them to say, you're only here because an exception was made for you, right? Again, it's to them, it's just affirmative action on steroids to them. That's how they're looking at it. That's how they're approaching it. Because now it's being inclusive of everything else that's not just quote unquote black. Right. So it's a bundle package, and again, we're paying the cost, but we've never necessarily seen the value in it. They said 4% of DEI hires in the U.S. workforce are melanated people. Just 4%.
You said just 4%.
Just 4%. Wow. Yeah.
Back
but mind you, it may not sound like a lot, but 4% is critical mass. When 4% of population adopts something, so numerically it might not sound like a lot to us, but to reach critical mass, you're looking to get anything between 4 and 10%. And 4% is enough for them to paint us as the face of, right? And we're the easiest scapegoat. Us and transgenders, I guess, to beat up on as tropes, to stuff. This is the stuff that they know that them other folks is part of the us don't want. No way around them, right? They don't want to cohabitate. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to share. They don't want to expose their children to us, right? Yeah. As melanated people and what we represent. You feel me? And then other individuals and marginalized groups that have been bundled in with us. You know what I'm saying? And it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate, like I said, that they can use these concocted, created terms that mostly, a lot of this stuff has recently arose, like with the whole woke marketplace, I call it, right? And yeah, they've been able to finesse us once again. I I spoke last year when I was on this program about identity politics, and that they're going to have a culture war, you know, based on identity politics. And it's dangerous at this time in this country if you don't know who you are, you know what I'm saying? Or you cannot finesse yourself out of a conversation about who you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't know who you are, and you can't convince them other people that you're not the people that they're saying that you are. Yeah, we are in one of the weirdest places in a long time, because you're gonna have to really know who you are. What is your why, or what are you fighting for? If you even engage in a fight, if you even fight back, what are you fighting for? How can we even defend DEI? We don't even know what it is, and we don't know what the prerequisites are. We don't even know where it came from. You know, I was asking like 2 years ago, and they told me it came from BlackRock. They said that this came from the top down, and they pressured all corporations that they had to be inclusive with DEI. It was a bundle package that came after George Floyd, but as a caveat, they baked in it that you got to have, you know, representation of LGBT. Because I was asking about the TV shows. I'm like, why does every TV show have a gay scene in it? And they said, that's DEI, Hollywood. And I was like, nigga, what's that? And what check was cut? Like, who was responsible?
Who sanctioned it?
Yeah, who sanctioned it?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was told to me, you know, things that I don't know whether it's 1,000% true. Yeah. So I don't want to repeat it and just add on to this tendency to just repeat stuff and it becomes newsworthy. You know what I'm saying? Please just make sure that we speak about the Facebook move and then removing the fact checkers and all of that. This is the worst time not to be rooted in some sort of foundational understanding of who you are. You know what I'm saying? And be willing to stand on that.
Yeah.
And then they're playing with people, right? They're playing with terms and terminologies. This whole 14th Amendment thing.
Yep. That was gonna be my next question. Hey,
right,
Cook Blue.
I'll let you.
No, cook.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Ask the question.
Hey, Blue, listen, bro. You good. You can cook all throughout this episode, bro. You ain't even got to worry about that. But Trump on the 14th Amendment, seeing that, I was like, wow, Trump is talking about, hey, this was actually intended for children of slaves. And I'm like, bingo, there it goes NBA, right there. Right. To your point, talk about they not like us. I thought about Kendrick in that moment too, Blue, because I'm like, dang, we are seeing this in real time. Even Trump, he's saying, y'all not like them. So if you can, Blue, please break that down. Because he, like everybody else, is eating off of y'all's plate in so many words. But how did you feel about that when you saw that?
Yeah. You know, this is once again the slave owners getting very comfortable and familiar with their slaves. They like, look, them is our slaves. We know them niggas, right? Y'all,
I don't know y'all.
Yeah. I don't know y'all. We can't trust it because y'all make us nervous. But these guys, we kind of got them figured out, right? And we know how to turn the pressure up enough, where they gonna chill out. Y'all is unhinged, you know what I'm saying? And we don't got you figured out yet. So we're you know, they're practicing what's called xenophobia. You know, they're terrified of anything that's not quote unquote us or them for that matter, right? They're xenophobic. They're going back to white nationality and white pride in that nationality, because they're terrified. Again, this is going into the birth rate negative, right? Yeah. So this is going into Frances Cress Welsing when she speaks about their psychosomatic, right? You know, the things that haunt them. This is not confidence that you're looking at. This is fragility. This is not superiority and supremacy, because you would even the playing field and be like, yeah, bring it on, nigga, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got confidence and
you still not me.
Yeah, and you still not me, so it don't matter what you do or, you know, who's on the court playing. They like, no, get them off the court. I don't want to see them on the court. You know what I'm saying? Put them in a peanut stand. That's where they need to be, because I'm getting nervous. You feel me? Because there's not enough women to go around. And we have to re-implement what our concept of masculinity is once again, so our women can want us. And the only way that they know how to practice that is aggressively, because of their background, right? And how they don't have dominion, they have dominance, because they don't have compassion. So how can you have dominion over something You can't spiritually connect with it, right? On some avatar, you can't go to the horse
put your hair
in it and connect like that. No, you got to subdue the horse and put a saddle on it and force it to fly. That's the game that they play. That's Christendom. That's the version of Christianity that they operate in. It is domination, not dominion. It's Roman conquest. It's hegemony of empire, initiated by Constantine when he adopted Christianity. He adopted a military form of it because he represented empire. And he was like, how are we going to go out and conquest? Oh, in the name of the sword. And that's what they've been doing ever since, right? They push the religion of peace at the tip of a spear and the barrel of a gun. And nobody sees the contradiction in that. You should be able to come and tell people the loving, redeeming qualities of Christ itself, right? And they like, yeah, I rocks with that. Yeah, I'm going to abandon all of this other pagan shit that I've been doing for 5,000 years. And I'm going to try that on facade because, you know, a dude, you know, bloody on the cross. Yeah, that's my form of savior. They can save self, yeah. So we're dealing with that on steroids. Because now they're emboldened by what they saw the real estate agents get away with. Wow. You know what I'm saying? By taking the beachfront property.
Man.
There's a lot of miscalculations, again, that I'm seeing, though, that are being made and you know, and you know what I'm saying? These people inability to see that far into the future.
Yeah.
Because if you saying that you want to convert the government to a meritocracy, then each individual that you're eliminating first from the government, you will want to know what merit do they represent. You just can't shave thousands of people from a workforce and think that the workforce is going to operate in an efficient manner, right? At a time where you could potentially be boggled down in turmoil from any direction because you out here popping smack. Yeah. And you don't think that nobody's qualified to try to test your chin. And that's a mistake. Mm-hmm. That's a mistake.
Arrogance,
yeah. Because China already tapped it, right? And I don't want to just jump into that. I don't know if you got a question dealing with that, bro? And then
you good?
We can get into, again, these observations. And I want to say this as a disclaimer first and foremost.
Yeah.
My first priority, my first advice to anyone listening or looking at this is to go get your money, right? And figure it out. Yep. Figure out a way to benefit from the chaos in the administration. It's called chaos capitalism. And you have to also look at the people that are winning and study the system. China operates a form of hybridized capitalism that's mixed in with socialism. I'm not suggesting that you delve into that. I'm saying study it because there's a philosophy that goes along with it. And then that goes back to what King and them were dealing with back then when they were advocating for the poor people, the proletariat, the worker class. They were speaking about social capitalism to a degree as well. And they were just speaking about, you know, how unjust the system is, where it's just pure capitalism, where there's 90% of the poor at the bottom with concentrated wealth amongst the 1%, right? That can never be a equitable system. That can never be an empire that is going to always rise because, you know, they think their philosophy of capitalism is the bigger, the better. Yeah. China just shows you the ideology behind that is no longer, right, the mainstay because they disproved it. No, they said bigger's not better. They said as minimalists, you just signed a deal to do a $500 billion project and we surpassed your technology with $6.6 million, right? And old tech, old chips, not the latest, greatest ones from NVIDIA, the ones that they threw us to scraps. The mother of inventions, ingenuity, right, is necessity.
Yeah.
We learned how to do more with less because that is the virtues, right? That's the virtue signaling that we've been raised off of, the ideological things that we've been exposed to based on them being bred in a hybridized capitalist society, but the culture is still socialism or communism. Mm-hmm. The culture, right? So there's a heavy emphasis on education. There's a heavy emphasis on discipline and accelerating and doing it for your nation. So dude that outwitted them is a 26-year-old billionaire, right? Well, I don't know if he's a billionaire. Let me correct that. He's a 26-year-old entrepreneur who initially founded a hedge fund when he was in school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's an engineer first, so he has mathematical prowess that's off the charts. This is deep because we was and again, this and I want to emphasize again, like I said, figure out a way. I'm giving you backdrop and background information. This is not fear-mongering. I'm not beating the drums of doom and gloom. I'm just giving you the layout. I'm showing you the play. So you can take this information and figure out a way that you can navigate through it, but it better be to get to a bag to some degree, right? And the bag don't just have to be coins. It could be ownership. It could be, you know what I'm saying? It could be you being sovereign in your mind and saying, I'm not gonna be fearful. I'm not gonna buy into fear. You know what I'm saying? I need to open my eyes and I need to figure this thing out. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of different ways to go about doing that. So I want us to understand that philosophically though, we can't expect to think like neo-colonialists, right? Practicing their version of capitalism and think that we're going to win at their game, right? When they're telling you, y'all are not like us. Y'all don't got what it takes to do this. Y'all could do something else, but y'all can't do this. Because in order to do this, you got to have the most bread.
Yeah.
It's cash rules, right? It's all about the Benjamins. It's he who has the biggest bag is the one that wins. And they're like, there's no way that you're going to win that game. You don't even got the heart to be heartless to this degree
it's no
to
morals.
Run these bees up. Yeah. Y'all care too much. You feel me?
Yeah.
They're like, y'all are a flawed being.
Too godly, huh?
Y'all are too godly. Yeah. Y'all are flawed. Y'all are
Yeah.
flawed competitors of ours because y'all care.
Yeah.
Y'all have compassion. We don't. And that's what they're showing you.
Jeez.
They're showing you, oh, we don't got to fake no more. This is nigga, that's how we feel about you for real.
All right, bet. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like,
Jeez.
For real.
Came out the gate cooking, bro. And seeing ICE, Homeland Security trying to send a whole bunch of immigrants home. But I'm like, the one immigrant that they aren't talking about is China. How China has all of this real estate, but they ain't trying to buck up at China. Why do you think that is, Blue? Because hearing you refer to China earlier, what do you think about that?
Again, yeah, like I said, I think that a lot of what they initially were speaking about was just them posturing, right? Because they have to appear to be forward in terms of dealing with China as a competitor. But that's the situation that they know that they're not ready for, at least for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
So again, it's just posturing. They have to put on the front. Because if they said that the initial reason that they were banning TikTok is because it was a Chinese app that was extracting information, data from the user, then why did they allow DeepSeek to come out on Inauguration Day? Wow. Because it's a Chinese app, and in its terms and conditions, it's telling you that it's taking data and it's sharing with the government, right? So it's BS.
Wow.
They shook them down. They shook them down and they turned around and said, oh, yeah, we're going to go into business with them, 50-50. As a government, isn't that fascism?
See?
How's the government doing business with the corporation? They're saying, if what he said, shit, if we making it work and do what it do, don't we deserve half? He's a mob boss, bro.
Yep.
Right? He's cracking knuckles and breaking heads at the table like Al Capone with the bat.
Yes.
So they got to ease up on China. Right? Elon must have came in there and told him whatever he told him. Look, y'all, his mother, Elon's mother, is a celebrity in China. She is a model. They call it the Silver Fox industry. They got a whole industry for 60 over models.
What?
Right? She's a star. She's the mother of 3 billionaire children. I don't even know about 2 of them. I don't know who the third one is. But his mama is in China like every 2 weeks. She's a brand ambassador for like 4 corporations over there. What? Yeah. So this dude is playing all kind of games.
Hey, you said it's layers
Backdoor.
to it. Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So he's telling them folks, look, I got him. And he's telling them folks, look, he's a quadruple agent. Right? He's playing everybody for the fool. But yeah, the China play is a bluff, you know what I mean? Because it's only but so much that they can do with a Chinese national and run a risk of a trade war and tariffs. I don't think that no American businesses would necessarily support that. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of posturing on Trump's behalf. He's trying to get a meeting so he can negotiate, you know what I'm saying, some favorable terms. But yeah, and it's gonna be like that. You know, they're gonna be posturing. They're gonna look like they're about that business and they're about to do something and they're not gonna do it. Yeah. And then you're gonna be like, damn, China owns treasury bonds. Damn, China owns the real estate. Damn, China got spies and damn, China owns these apps. Damn, China. You know what I mean? And, you know, the TikTok thing, once again, that was about the real estate agents, right? Saying that their popularity around the planet is going down because TikTok as a platform was exposed to too many secrets.
I didn't even think about that aspect of it. Bro.
Yeah, so they leaned on them. It was them. So, you know, he went in there and told them, like, yeah, you got to put some parameters up. You got to do the stuff that Mark said that he's no longer doing. And what are people saying? Oh, I'm back on TikTok and I'm censored. Oh, I'm back on TikTok. The app is different. Oh, I'm back on TikTok. The algorithm ain't the same. Yeah, they took that other stuff, certain stuff that you can't find on there no more. Just like when you go on Meta now, it's stuff that you can't find on there no more. Specifically dealing with the real estate agents. Wow. Right? They clean shop. They paid for this campaign. I told you this in the last interview. That no matter who win, they paid.
Right before the election,
they paid 50 on this side and they paid 50 on that side.
It's fixed.
You feel me? And they brought them in. And then they're using Elon as the smokescreen to say, oh, you know, he gave this amount of bread and he got access. So why are you not talking about the people who gave more bread than him that got access? Why are you not talking about the people who had access in the first administration? Right? So, because you saying he gave 250, so then, he gave 250, so what he say is more important than Adelson, Mariam, because she gave 100. But the day that they came in office, they've been taking over the West Bank ever since the ceasefire, and they've been running down and clamping down on the West Bank. And that was her promise to Trump. I'll give you 100 million. Y'all got to give us the West Bank. We want to annex the West Bank. We want to do that stuff. We want to violate over there in this fashion. Okay, good. Y'all got it. And so now you're going to see, and you're already seeing his posturing. Oh, yeah, this is a dump. You know what I'm saying? We need to clean this thing up, build out beachfront property, da-da-da-da-da. Yo, send them to Egypt, send them to Jordan. He's working for the puppet masters. And then they got you confused. It's like, oh, but he's running with Nazis. Man, them the same people, man. Them the same people.
Wow.
They kind of showed you that in the Ukraine.
Yep.
It's where the Ashkenazis come from. But the whole political party that is being funded is a Nazi party. Yep. It's a Nazi party. It happens to probably be Jewish. I mean, it's the weirdest thing ever. But I was told the acronym meant National Zionists for Nazi. It's right in our face. Truth is stranger than fiction, man.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And everything is not as far-fetched as it may seem. And this thing here, yeah, levels and layers, man. It's like layered like an onion. And this person's playing, that person is playing, this person is playing, that person is playing this person. Because everybody right? Put a little bit of bread in the pot.
Yep.
And they got an agenda to get fulfilled.
Everybody got a parlay, Blue?
Everybody got a parlay. This
Yeah.
parlay might you know, it might cancel out this hand and that hand might, bro. And then, you know, and then we the monkey in the middle, because everybody's running around without birthright, without cosmic robe on, playing us and spitting in our face and kicking dust up at the same time. And we just, which way did he go? We just confused. We don't got no identity. They robbed our robe, our cosmic robe, our birthright.
Yeah.
The covering that you get from the cosmos. This is who you are. This is what your promise is. It's stitched in the hem of your garment. Somebody's running around with your coat on. You know what I'm saying? Getting invited into parties. They occupying your crew. They getting mail there. They squatting. Wow. They still getting mail there. And you homeless.
Wow. Cosmic robe, Blue. Hearing that statement, right? I think about Joseph in the Bible, right? He had his robe.
This is all.
And his brothers, you know, they was jealous of him.
The Bible is all about birthright, theft, and land right theft.
Jacob, his birthright. Blue, how do we as a people get our cosmic robe, our lifestyle, how do we get everything back to where everything is just back in order? What do you think about that concept?
Yeah, and again, you know, levels and layers, because it's multi-pronged, because we're not a monolith as a people.
Correct.
So for those that, you know, understand that, vibrate on that calibration and that frequency, I would say, look, 2025 also happens to be the Jubilee year.
Yep.
Now, the Catholics celebrate it one way. I think that it coincides with everything that, you know, we got going on as well, because a Jubilee is a Jubilee. My theorem was this. In 2019, right, when it came out with Project 1619, it was a celebration of 400 years for melanated people being in slavery. So our Jubilee had already happened, but it got disrupted by C19. Case in point, December of 2019, we had the what? You free now, so you go home. So we had to return to the Gold Coast in our golden age. The golden people went to Ghana, right? 1.9 billion was made. We was doing good. Our trajectory was amazing. Jubilee, celebration, apologies.
Return home, yeah.
Right? And the removal of debt. So C19 happens in December. In China, at least, right? It don't come here. It wasn't officially until March 11th.
Yeah, it was like early March. Yeah,
right?
Hey, you
February
right,
is when it started inclinating, because
all the rumors.
They had. It was on the sea. It was a diamond cruise ship, February 13th, I believe, and 44 people, of course, right, died or got something on the ship. Wow. So I was like, damn, it's on the sea. So it's only a matter of time for hops. Because at this time they were saying that it came from a snake. And this was just, there was a lot of esoteric stuff going on. I just knew that once it was on the water, it'll be here. Sure enough, it got here in March. And that disrupted our Jubilee. When we should have been celebrating that this burden that we have been convinced, right? Because you adopted the religion, but if you adopt what they said about you, right? Unfortunately, they said you got a curse, and you've been carrying that because they've been using that to justify your slavery and everything else, nigga. But your 400 years is up. So you got to give them back that despair, and they got to give you back your robe. That's the deal.
Wow.
They finesse niggas, and they use every mechanism and way to do it. And Trump was a big part to play. They turning states on Fauci now, but that was Operation Warp Speed. He initiated a lot of this stuff. Yeah. He was playing these games. But nonetheless, so celebration. We had Club Quarantine, right?
Yeah, you're right.
with Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez's name is Daystar, right? Where it means the sun or the morning star.
Yeah.
We had Verses, right? So we still found a way to party.
Yeah.
Boosie was giving shorties X amount of bread, right?
Yeah.
To show they tatas and move that cat.
Yeah.
All of that was going on. This is how we celebrate, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Did the corporations not come out and cut these exorbitant amount of checks? And he was like, why?
Folks was
no
eating.
Disrespect to George Floyd,
but
they gave you $100 million
for DEI.
For DEI, right? Even to where the BLM lady had 3 mansions that burned down in LA. That's how about she was catching that windfall. Everybody was cutting the checks. I got the screenshots. Corporations left and right. Big checks.
Yeah.
Legislation, right? I mean, the Congress put the kente on.
Dang,
embarrassed
you're
themselves.
Right. I forgot about that.
Right? Capitulation.
And took a knee.
Genuflection.
Yeah.
Pope did too. Right? It was all types of stuff that qualifies what a Jubilee's supposed to look like.
Right.
But we don't know. There's no one that's translating this information in the way that it should be translated and talking to our people the way that they supposed to be talking to. You know what I'm saying? So we just missing stuff. And we paying the price. All the while, you still signed up, you still paying the price. And then yesterday, even like today, I watched the confirmation hearing for RFK Jr. And they on his neck, right? And they're like, yeah, but you said the C-19 was geoengineered specifically for melanated people and Native Indians, right? Because they were the ones that was attacked first. Yeah. They put it on them. They try to hang it on our coat, right? This was all about our Jubilee. So now we are in their version of what they consider to be Jubilee. It was initiated after he opened up 6 portals, 6 doors. You know what I'm saying? The last one being the St. Paul Cathedral. They did that on January 6th. The last one that they opened. The next day, the fires came. You know what I'm saying? The next day. And again, in my theorem, in the Law 44, I have a series called When in Rome. And we break down a lot of stuff dealing with the Pope and the Vatican and everything and get into the esoteric elements, especially of this Jesuit Pope, who was connected and tethered to the Super Bowl of 2013 that was played in New Orleans when the Ravens lost. Yep. No, when the Ravens beat the 49ers.
Yep.
8 days after that, Pope Benedict wakes up and says, I'm abdicating from the throne, right? First time in 600 years, and they bring in a new pope and name him Pope Francis. But the play, the 2012 play, which ends up being the 2013 Super Bowl, is those teams represented, the Baltimore Ravens represented the Moors, and the San Francisco 49ers represent the church, because the Franciscans are the Franciscan friars, right? This is Saint Francis Assisi becomes the front runner ultimately of what later on the Jesuits will become. You know what I'm saying? This deals with the Golden Gate, right? And not just the Golden Gate Bridge, but the Golden Gate is the location in the Temple Mount in Jerusalem that they're fighting over right now, because that's where both systems, Zionists say that Moshe, which is Moses to them, has to enter through the East Gate or the Eastern Gate, the Golden Gate, right? And then the Christians say that Jesus enters through a donkey through the Golden Gate. That's the same Golden Gate, according to the narrative, that he entered when he went into the temple and turned the tables over. Okay? It's sealed off now, and the Muslims built a cemetery in front of it because rabbinical priests can't walk through a cemetery and be consecrated as being pure anymore. That's what the whole red heifer thing was about. So this is, again, it gets into all of these esoteric politics, geopolitics and everything, fulfillments of prophecies, but these are the things that are compelling entire nations to move the way that they are moving and to do the things that they're doing. The consolidation of cosmic power based on fulfillment of prophecy, whether that is man-written prophecy or not. You know what I'm saying? They are utilizing any and every means and methods to align themselves to look like they're the ones and to get everything that comes with being them ones. When them ones is sound asleep and they don't want it. So everyone else is fighting for it. And we confused, like, what's going on with the world? You have abandoned your throne. You have abandoned your covenant. You have abandoned your calling. You know what I'm saying? Wow. From a people who have been here for time immemorial. This is even if it's a current game that's being played, it still got something to do with you. You just don't walk away from it in the stupor altogether. And the only thing that we have left is whatever has remained of the Christian church. But I have not seen one pastor, one reverend. I have not seen none of these people come out speaking about this administration or defending King. You feel me? When it's very clear, or it should be, they're going to play stupid until it's too late, right? What this administration is attempting to do by destroying, right, the name of the King, whacking out his mural.
Back to Kendrick.
So we're back in New Orleans.
Yep.
Right? We're back in New Orleans with a Super Bowl. This is a mirror matchup of 2 years ago. Right? Who are the Chiefs? The indigenous people. Who are the Eagles?
The bald eagle.
Right?
Yeah.
The U.S. government.
Yep.
The current administration. Because specifically they said that they represent the Republic. So this ain't the administration from D.C. This is the initial installment of the government that was in Philadelphia. Right?
Come on. Wow.
When the Republic was here.
Yeah.
Shake 'em, mix 'em. So it's weird, but it's playing out. And I'm seeing this administration beat the feathers out of the indigenous people right now in real life, not in fake life, on my timeline. They're being round up in a deport, and they're attempting to change the laws on them by saying what? And this, shout out to the Moors, they're saying they're not citizens.
They've been saying that. Yeah.
Who do you think they're coming for next? So they're saying, oh, even as y'all being sovereign citizens, y'all are not U.S. citizens, though. Right? So now this goes back to, is this going to be a whole public and private thing? Is it going to come down to status? Because they're literally, they're carding people now.
Yeah.
This is, we live in a fascist state. We again, we don't see the fullness of it because it's just started, but the onset of it is, look, we got a mass deportation policy set in place and we can't tell who's who because all you niggas look the same. You got your cards on you. You got your form of ID. What difference is that from apartheid? But we here now. We've been talking about it forever, but they just eased it in. They got military here on U.S. soil doing the work of government. This is crazy. Wow. So, yeah, it has a lot to do with the Pope.
Yeah.
And New Orleans, that cathedral, you know what I'm saying, and what that stadium represents. New Orleans has already been charged up with ritualistic energy at the beginning of the top of the year when our...
Yeah, you're right, Blue.
Mama, cosmic parent appears directly over us. Cause I take exception to people to be like, yo, New Year's ain't January 1st. I'm like, be quantum. Know how to exist in multiple realities because you already do. You niggas is not in Africa, and no disrespect, right? But if you don't understand why, if you part of a corporation and they celebrate a fiscal New Year, right? Then you just, do you do business?
Or not.
Or not?
Yeah.
Because that's another problem. It's like, what are we doing here? Are we just chilling? Because you just can't chill going ahead. And again, there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be niggas that figure out how to build huts out of twigs in the forest. It's going to be like, Blue, you don't know what you're talking about. Right? I know how to forage mushrooms in the forest and build twigs, and I'm going back to forest living. And I'm like, granted, but the majority of our people, reality is going to fall on them within the first 6 months.
That's right.
Of this year. And we're going to see homelessness spike to a degree that we've never seen it. We're going to have to be there for one another in ways that we've never been.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to have to become the new Mexicans. with the 15 people in the crib doing tasks and jobs that are, not so necessarily sexy.
Yeah.
Right? Scaling down on the bling and the drip, you know what I'm saying? To minimalize. You feel me? Possibly having to grow our own food. Yeah. Building community. For real, living amongst one another for security purposes. That woman and that child might not be as safe as you think. Right? I came on this program last time and I said they're going to be extra aggressive towards women post this election, regardless of who wins.
And they thought you was tripping, Blue.
Unfortunately, right? These things are happening at a rate, you know what I'm saying, that is sickening. And yeah, there's a lot of dog whistles, and them people see that there's a lot of fear already in the community. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. The people see that there's a lot of defeatism. The people know that when they knock the candidate off, they knock the whole row of bowling pins down. So right. People's, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Their whole, they ain't even got that thing in them. You feel me? Jeez. Their why is not bigger than the other person's. Their why is not Xing out the other person's why. Mm-hmm. Who has the bigger why is the one who's going to get the W. You feel me? Yeah. So, yeah, we gotta figure a lot of things out, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, in a short amount of time. And none of it is undoable. None of it is unfamiliar territory. Yeah. None of it should be something that we look away from. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We should run to it gleefully. Mm-hmm. We should accept the challenge. We should rise to the occasion. You feel me? But we need to be coordinated and calculated as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? We have to be coordinated and calculated because, time is of the essence. And if you're going to grow food, then, the season is coming when you got to know what seeds to put in the ground. Like, it's just certain things that if you're going to do them, and they need to be done. Yeah. You know what I mean? Wow. So.
Back to our roots, man. That's what we got to get back into. And, man, Blue, seeing Elon Musk, hearing you talk about dog whistles, I thought about my man. He did the whole Heil Hitler right in front of us, man. He did the whole Nazi salute. And we saw real estate agents, ADL, say that was premature, that they appreciate everybody being on it, but that's not what that was. And Blue, I was truly, man, taken aback because if it's Kanye, Minister Farrakhan, Kyrie, mm-hmm. He has to apologize. Nick Cannon has to go to the museum, has to donate. That's extortion. So, but then seeing Elon, he's not held accountable to the same standard. We already know why, but Blue, how do you feel seeing that the ADL had to make a tweet saying, nah, that's not what he did? How do you feel about Elon?
Again, I know that last year, the ADL pressured him and he went to Israel and he went to the Wailing Wall and, he did the museum tour and everything. So I know that they know who he is, right? But again, I told you, my tendency is, to look at them people as the same people. So they could play them games. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, again, they could tell us anything. They already snatched our chain and they got our robe on. So it's a lot more damning coming from us because we are playing identity politics games where he's already clear in his support for German ultra-nationalist organizations. He's already on record in Europe being a disruptor. He's already on record going to them people in Germany and telling them, y'all are being too remorseful for your past. Wow. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing that's being told to them over here. It's the same game that they played. Y'all should not be feeling that way about your conservative generals. Y'all should not feel about your ancestors the way that these people feel. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should not be ashamed of slavery. You feel me? This is what they're telling them. And it's what they're believing. They're like, yeah, shit, right? And he's telling them people the same thing. So it's politics. It's so many real estate agents in this administration that are there to make sure that this country don't sway the way that it did, right, under the last administration, that they got to play the game carefully as well, right? Because they are around white supremacists. They are around nationalists. After 23, you know, they had took a hit of like $200+ billion in 2022, and then he kind of had a whole revival in terms of in his own personal self. He started doing the MMA and the jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? And he just started becoming more of a bro, right? Or identifying with more of what's considered to be masculine based on the whole red pill thing online. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he just moved and gravitated more so towards the center, so he wouldn't be left in the shadow of the left. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in order for him to allow MAGA and the rest of in order for him to allow Trump to flourish in any space, you have to eliminate truth. You have to eliminate fact checkers. You have to eliminate, you have to minimize AI's ability to call BS because it's just gonna be BS. Yeah. And that's what they thrive on: chaos and confusion and no clarity. Right? President, we need some clarity on it. So you're gonna hear going forward. We're not clear on, wait, hold on, can you explain? Nah, just shitted on 11 million people. Just don't the toilet paper.
Yep.
Next.
Wow.
So yeah, he, you know, get with the program. You feel me? Or you a op. You gonna be opt.
All of this is crazy, bro.
So yeah, throw them under deodorant. You just said they just armpitting them. Come on, get over here. They little bro in them.
Yeah.
Pause on some DJ Academic shit.
Sheesh.
Right? Sheesh. What camera do I look at?
Yeah, hey, talk about that, Blue. Hey, you good? Cook. I'm chilling.
Don't you ever, young men in particular out here in the world, regardless of what community that you belong to, right? And there's a lot of young men out here that don't have responsible brothers and uncles. Because let's say this, let's just clear the air with this, right? If I meet 8 out of 10 women that I meet have been abused, and they say that they came from their uncles and their cousins, sometimes they brother. It's a lot of nasty niggas out here. So it's not just enough to say a big bro, you know, oh, you don't got a big brother, because your big brother could be a POS. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Your uncle could be one of them nasty, you know what I mean? Your uncle could be hella weird. And so it's not just enough to just be like, yo, if y'all don't have people to raise you and train you in support of, you know what I'm saying, eldership in your life, these are the things that you should know is not cool. You know what I'm saying? And then because of these children's socialization, I'm sound like a dinosaur because I'm not in these chat rooms. I'm not part of their community. A lot of them get socialized at the age of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And these are the things that I hear about. These are the things that other children, you know, inform me about to be going on in these chat rooms when they're playing Call of Duty and Fortnite. My nephew used to tell me, you know what I'm saying, about some of these things that, you know, people that they're playing from around the world, especially the entitled children of them other people, right, who we share proximity with. They get on there and call them N-words and everything, but they listening to the music together. These children think that they part of the culture, but they not like us, but you can't tell them that, right? So it's the same dilemma that homie fell into. Because you got to invite, because you got to pass, because they letting you get away with this over there, calling all of our women every single name out of their book, you know, calling them out of their name. And you found some niggas in Atlanta that's going to co-sign that with you and carry it on like it's culture and it's acceptable. Yeah, but you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And it should be the same situation that they are establishing with these, you know, these youngers in these chat rooms that feel entitled, that they just feel entitled enough to violate, right? And the Aiden Rosses of the world, the ones that really feel entitled. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's no chin checking going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nothing is being properly put in perspective, but we crying after the fact to be like, yo, how did this get to this place? Yeah. Cause it's like, if they spoke to that young man, and for the people that may not know what we're speaking about, there was an incident online with a very influential podcaster, YouTuber named DJ Academics, and there's a 15-year-old a moderator, right, who helps other streamers moderate. And a lot of these different communities, they have sub-communities. So this sub-community that he was invited to was a Discord sub-community that plays, that, you know, DJ Academics belongs to. They play Fortnite, other video games. And if you understand the online culture, right, these people are playing games online from all around the world with one another, and they be all in there chatting it up. They were speaking to this young man in a very inappropriate manner, you know, sexually, you know, asking him questions about his sexuality and insisting or inferring, you know, that he would do certain sexual acts on other members of said community. They were just out of pocket, speaking in a way in which no one should ever speak to another man, another young man, you know what I'm saying? Specifically, especially somebody who is just like 15, you know what I'm saying? And then you don't mask it and turn around and say we was little broing him. If you're a little bro out there and your big bro is treating you in this particular manner, know that it's not normal, it's not a natural process, and you are being, I don't know, you know, they use that word, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's the exact word. You're being propositioned, and you're being played with, and you're being propositioned, and you're being primed for penetration at some point to some degree or another. And that doesn't have to be something that's always physical. They're just going to use you throughout your life, you know what I'm saying, in a way that is not going to be befitting to you establishing a firm manhood, you know, later in life. And our population, this gives me an opportunity, goddamn. I gotta go dark.
I was about to say, Blue said, hold on.
I gotta go dark.
You good. You good. Glasses.
Dealt with, had a lot of young ladies, friends of mine's, their children is always generally in the age group of 9 to 12, maybe sometimes 13, 14. In about 2015, 2016, 2017, around that time, back to back, they used to come to me and be like, yo, I need you to speak to my son. And I'm like, what's going on with Junior? I found his I found his search information. You know, I found, you know what I mean? I'm learning what my son's sexual preferences are based on his porn search, you know, material, things of that nature. I'm like, what's Junior into? And the things that they would share to me, like Japanese midget porn, amputees, shit like that. And I'm not saying this to be funny. This is that Scorpion, sarcastic, dark humor. Yeah. I need to be, you know, straightforward with this because these was real things that was told to me, that was shared to me in confidence. And I shared with the young ladies, let me put y'all in a group because y'all all seem to have the same story. Y'all need to compare notes and figure out what's the consistency across these narratives and these stories. Like, why is your child looking for granny goblin porn? Like, she just can't be a granny. She got to dress up as and get smashed by Goku or some crazy shit. Like the variations was
at a young age like that, Blue.
So Trump,
wow.
If you going back to there's just two genders, then democratize porn, right? And make it where it's just 4 categories.
That's a good point. Jeez. At 9, 10,
There's
11,
too many
12.
categories. Yeah.
Wow.
At super early ages, they were being acculturated, right? That's the word. That's the big word of the day. The children were being acculturated for sexual proclivities that are not normalized amongst our society. I'm not gonna dump on nobody's sexual preference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that they was looking for weird shit that normally, you know, like even a generation prior to them would be like, damn, son, you need a hug, who you need to talk to? Like, what we doing? But yeah, however they're going about finding these things, they're finding them.
Wow.
And they're sharing them, and then they're acculturating other young men in their social circles to be like, oh, you ain't hear about, you know what I'm saying? Granny Goku?
Granny Goku is crazy. Oh, man. Hey, gotta laugh through some of the pain sometimes, bro. Hey, we gonna laugh and learn today, y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna laugh and learn. So, yeah, the world is changing, our country's changing, you know, and there's this unprecedented thrust going on at the same time that we're moving into the age of Aquarius. Yeah. The age of Aquarius mandates that there are going to be a lot of children that are born sexually confused. I seen a statistic the other day. It said 50% of children in the UK, they said 50 was gender confused. I'm like, 50? Which nigga? It's a lot of that's a large swath of a population. You know what I'm saying? They want to get rid of their stuff. I'm like, what do you do with that? So the more that we move into this age, you know what I'm saying, and you're not gonna suppress these things coming to the surface, even if you make them, you know, unlawful or illegal, or, you know what I'm saying, you socially shame them. You know, so they're gonna be like, I don't know if y'all grew up with the X-Men. They like the Midnight Marauders. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They've created this whole group of this marginalized group. Now they're gonna have to go underground like the Midnight Marauders, because I do think that the society is gonna grow aggressive towards them. They're gonna blame them for a lot of the loss that we are experiencing as a country. They're gonna blame them. They're gonna be like, look, because of y'all, they're gonna do that thing. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna divide in the way in which they demonize the marginalized groups. And the weaker they become, the more susceptible that they are to be, you know, cleansed. Wow. This is purge. For real. Wow. It's for real.
Man. Blue, seeing Ack, of course, streaming, and, you know, I think about Akash Sinat. I think about TikTok and Twitter. Like, for me growing up, my friends, like our parents, they could control what was on TV. You could have like parental guidelines and restrictions and things like that. Or, you know, if it's late at night and if you watch a BT Uncut, you got to already have like previous channel queued up. If your dad or your mom walk in, you just hit previous channel, you pull it right back up to like,
go to the Showtime
Nickelodeon or something. Like, no, I was just chilling. But man, Blue, these babies now, to your point, are exploring sexuality and porn at a young age. Like, we had magazines, but these kids, they could just go straight to the phone, look it up. How can our parents, like black parents, younger black parents, protect their children, Blue? Because they are facing something that we never even had to experience.
Again, I don't have an answer to that.
Yeah.
Other than my recommendation was the parents need to be a lot more vocal with one another. They need to form group chats. They need to talk. They need to compare notes, and they need to come up with interdiction and solutions. Because I don't have any. You know what I'm saying? Because the children are gonna be on the devices. The children were raised on the devices. They're tablet toddlers. You know, I know children that they was exposed to weird shit from the kiddie programs. They've been sexualized since before they even knew that they've been sexualized. You know what I mean? I caught some things, you know, that my nieces and nephews was watching on YouTube. Older white, like, why is he narrating? And then you sit there and you listen long enough, you like, come on, son. You feel me? We not doing this. We're not doing this.
Wow.
You know? And they said, yeah, man, the DEI was the reason that stuff was being taught in school the way that it was. And, you know, 6-year-olds was learning about anal plugs and just things that are just out of control, admittingly, right? Admittingly. Like, and that's the thing. The people who I know in my life that have been radicalized by being in proximity to MAGA, meaning that they probably don't go to the rallies. You know, they MAGA from home. They MAGA online. You know what I'm saying? And they be sending me mad threads, but these are parents. And they are so appalled at any suggestion of the prior administration or Democrats, period, in particular, right, sexualizing their child in a way that is not consistent with how the parent wants to raise the child. So if anything were to happen and that child ends up, you know, choosing a different sexual preference that is not in league with what the parents initially thought would be the design, they're going to blame, you feel me?
Yeah.
Administrations, they're going to blame the propagandists. They're going to blame, you know, the things that they see taking place in society that almost would appear like, you know, there has been a cultural coup d'etat.
Wow.
So to this day, they be sending me like, yo, I agree with everything he's doing. I agree with everything he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I'm hearing that from entrepreneurs, friends of mine that are entrepreneurs. I agree with everything he's doing. Take the crutches away. Let's really see. Let's level the playing field. You know what I mean? America first. I'm like, okay. I get it. And then again, there's other people that's telling me, yo, son, don't even get out there with the, you know what I'm saying? Don't even get in front of these people and tell them X, Y, and Z. Like, it's no time for that. You know, if we're not telling them how to get money, then we wasting their time. And I agree to the point that we really need to be focused on finance. We need to be focused on an economic model. We need to be focused on, you know, something that's a little bit more protracted. Like, you know, what's your 4-year, 8-year, 12, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100-year plan? Regardless of what you see in them do, who has a superior claim to the future? Are you staking and consecrating it? Is it immutable and immovable in your mind? Do you represent the frequency resonant that's going to say, oh, this stream is going to have to bend around you? Or will it just wash you up because you're not foundated? Right? We're our visionaries. We're our leaders at, look, the people need hope. And hope is, you know, what my grandfather would call, he's like, hope is a dopiate. Right? It's a dope. It's we call it hopiate. Right? But it's like a lot of other things that some people can say is not real, but there's a need and a necessity for it, like belief, right? Belief leads to something, right? Belief is founded enough that it will, I've seen people make life decisions based on it, right? So it has materialized you know, functionality in people's lives that has helped their lives become, or help them become better versions of themselves. You know, a person with hope is a person that I would rather be around rather than a miserable person with no hope. You feel me? Yeah. And we could start from there and then get that person something solid and consecrated so they can let go of hope and have something tangible to hold on to. But our people are losing hope. And it's dangerous to have a people or be surrounded by people with no hope.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, bro, 50 Blue. So, man, now you did a phenomenal job. I probably got like 2 more questions for you.
Let's get it.
Thank you, sir. Man. Speaking on hope, I think about Obama, right? And last night, from sources as well, family, friends, government workers, whether that's FBI, whatnot, they were sent emails. And in those emails, it stated that if you would like to leave, you can. We will pay you out through September. And I'm like, yo, Trump is really out here doing this. Why do you think Trump is basically trying to encourage government workers to quit? If they aren't going to quit, now all of them are feeling hopeless because it's like, yo, I was told a government job was the most stable type of job you could get, pension, and now he's trying to fold that. So how do you feel about that mixed with his Project 2025?
How do you destabilize Black America? Wow. If we look at the crux of, because it was told to me, oh, you just don't know how many of our people was federal workers. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I used to move through the DMV. You know, I seen a lot of folk, you know what I mean? But they's like, yeah, behind the wall, though, like, they're the ones that make things move. So they not like us. Who's us? MAGA voters, right? Yeah. MAGA sympathizers. I'm putting on for my people and my tribe. It's Trump tribalism. Y'all niggas is not with us, right? We don't even trust being around y'all. Y'all don't trust us. We don't trust y'all. We're going to make it nice or we're going to do this the hard way, right? So you could get the severance or you could get the axe when Elon comes with this Doge report, you know what I'm saying, by 2026. You feel me? You could get the severance or you could get the axe. You could get the axe to the guillotine. That's your choice, right? We ain't rocking with y'all. We got robots, we got machines, we got automation. You feel me? And I guess whatever else it is that he might figure out, because I don't think that they're thinking this through. Yeah. They're firing, right? And again, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Because if you're not interested in the meritocracy of the employee, how do you know who you're getting rid of and that they can be replaced, right? Because what the Indian told you to your face is that you do not have the brains in this country to compete. And that was proven to be true just the other day, right? So while you are initiating these programs to gut this country of all of these migrants, quote unquote, right? You very well could be cutting your nose to spite your face because you don't know who none of these people are and what none of them are capable of, nor do you care because you're so blinded. You feel me? By your hatred and your willingness to do something that has never been done. It was never done for a reason. But the Republican mandate has always been to minimize government, to shave it down to a degree where it could potentially look like what it is that we're looking at. But this just might be the wrong time to do it. Or it might be the right time. Because we don't know what their plans are for AI. We don't know what their plans are, right? Because I'm going to tell you what Musk's going to do with Doge. He's going to create a government system that is automated on blockchain.
Wow. I haven't heard that theory yet, Blue. Okay, good. I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
They're building out a government that's going to be, you know, transparent enough that, you know, on blockchain we'll be able to see certain transactions and everything. But the AI agents and everything else that they need to complete these jobs that the people are doing, they're gonna have machines do them to minimize the cost. I mean, what did you think that he was there for? He's there because his hatred for melanated people, woke people, DI, whatever you want to call it, right? He's gonna get the job done, right? He gives no ish, and they know that. Oh, he don't have no heart center. He's gonna go in there and gut. We trust that. We trust that he's gonna do that.
Yeah.
But how you gonna replace it? You know what I'm saying? What plan can possibly be in place that even makes it make sense? Oh shit, yeah, he's gonna implement. You know what I'm saying? Some sort of automated system with his robots, machines, AI, and people managing them. You know what I'm saying? And those people managing them will be vetted, and they'll probably bring them from out the country and make them kiss the ring. You know what I'm saying? And sign an NDA and all of that, you know, whatever they need to feel safe, because they're xenophobes. So they're terrified right now of their place in a position in the world, knowing that, you know, they run the risk of losing this race that they have with the yellow race. Who they really, you know, they have a disdain and dislike. The whole 1900s was about this country going to war with the yellow man. After he vanquished already the brown and the black, for lack of better terms, we're speaking colors like they're crayons. But the 1900s, he turned his attention towards the yellow man. Korean War, Vietnam War, Cambodia, Laos, dropped the bombs in Japan. Yes, so they've been dropping bombs, you know what I'm saying, on the quote unquote yellow man for a considerable amount of time. And you know, I feel that they're terrified of his ingenuity and his intelligence. I was also watching a YouTube the other day, and they were interviewing somebody that was part of Special Force that went into Afghanistan. And, you know, he didn't initially know that their assignment and their job was to go over there to look over the opium fields, but he found out the hard way that they weren't authorized to destroy them. And he said that, you know, he had finally got some answers from levels above him as to why these crops were off. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, they weren't.
Look, time to harvest the crops.
Yeah, they was off hands. Like they could not be interfered with.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah, I got you.
And it was explained to him that it's in the interest of the United States government that the dope reaches full maturity, because its main export routes were China and Russia. So they utilized the narcotic to destabilize, right, their enemies. This was the whole reason that they brought dope to China in the late 1800s. It was called a Boxer Rebellion. George W. The older Bush, his daddy, Prescott Bush, was part of that, right, where they were bringing the opium, you know what I'm saying, to the Chinaman, and the Chinaman was getting strung out on dope, and this is how they was able to control him and get inroads, because China had been walled off and forbidden prior to that. You know what I'm saying? They had been not intercepted, but the British got in there. That's what the Hong Kong thing and all of that ultimately became about. So they have a tendency to do that, you know, to destabilize their enemies, especially the ones who they feel that they are possibly intellectually inferior to.
Yeah.
Again, because these individuals are operating asymmetrically, almost like guerrilla warfare, but in economics as well, right? Do more with less. Let me just give you an example of how revolutionary DeepSeek is and why it has disrupted the world of AI. So ChatGPT, right? They'll buy out data centers and create computers after computers after computers, and these computers are all for calculation power, right? This computer's calculating X amount of queries, right? And then we're training our models off of that, but we have to generate query after query after query and feed the answers into this model for this model to become smarter and more cognizant of itself, right? That's how allegedly they are leveling up to get to AGI, right? Artificial general intelligence, or, you know, like super AI, super intelligence. So what the Chinese did, right, or what this engineer did with a mathematical computational mind, right, who's an engineer first and a businessman second, what he did was like, oh, rather than do all that, we're just gonna use one machine to query the other machine, to query the other machine, to query the other machine. So in so many words, he minimized all of that extra creating by just going back to chat and asking it the same questions over and over and over and over and over again. So he created a more affordable, effective, and efficient shortcut to get directly to what they needed to get to. And again, because he was able to do that, or they were able to do that at such a discounted rate, and they showed that they are more effective because their model outpaces this behemoth of a chat GPT, then that caused a rupture in the market because the venture capitalists no longer have the wherewithal, right? They can't explain why they're pumping billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars into AI. Of course, you know, like all things in this country, somebody's shaving the money off the top, and that money could potentially be being spent in other arenas. You know, they're laundering or allegedly. Let me not say that. You're right. Let me not say that. But yeah, they out here just running up and blowing the bag, and it's not necessary, right? Mm-hmm. Because it does not make them more efficient, more effective, and they're no longer the leaders in a very pivotal race that they have to get in front of, because their identity, right, is definitely connected with America first. Wow. So they can't be America second. How do you explain to the rednecks in the Appalachians Mountain why the Chinese are so much smarter than you and they're inferior? How are you going to explain that?
It's a contradiction.
It's a contradiction.
Wow.
So yeah, man, we're you know, and astrologically, we call this Pluto in Aquarius. There's a 20-year period of us moving into the age of Aquarius that we're undertaking right now. It's gonna last until 2044, and it is the Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is transformation. Aquarius is technology, humanity, right? And also sexuality. So we, of course, like I said, we're gonna see these things change and transform. The level and the layer of what we're seeing in technology, the change and the transformations that's taking place in technology ultimately is going to shift the power back to the people, because Aquarius stands for power to the people, or we the people as well. So now we're seeing that it was democratized and the power was put back in the hands of the little guy, the people, the person that figures some things out, the person that got a little bit but could do a lot with it. You know what I'm saying? Because they were studious enough to figure some things out of necessity. So shout out to underdeveloped world, third world, whatever they want to call them places. You know, as Trump would say, the shitholes of the world, yep. Right? I guarantee you that it's somebody cranking out in their bedroom that's utilizing these tools in ways that we never figured out how to. That's not wasting time. There's so many tools available. There's so much access. There's so many things that we can do to turn the tide. You feel me? But we have to want it. Our why has to be there. You know what I mean? It has to be wide enough to out why anyone else's why. And then the universe will correspond with you. Fortune favors the bold. Where are our bold thoughts at? Where are our bold thinkers? Where are the bold moves that we're making in business? You know what I'm saying? Like, these things have to take place. Because we're not part of nobody's conversation about intelligence in this country. They've just jumped over us and our babies, and they speaking about bringing, immigrants from X, Y, and Z to come here. But what about allocating some funds towards these schools to teach STEM programs? Because we got babies right here. We got babies right. We got bodies right here. Right? They're not too far gone. You don't want them being taught sexual ideology in school, but teach them some STEM. Right? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and arts. Teach them some STEM, empower them so we can compete. Right? Or is what's being told to us, it's like, same way that they telling these veterans, same way that they telling the federal employees, thank you for your service. You know what I'm saying? But if I was you, I'll take the severance package, and it's fair. It's more fair than anything. Better invest that.
I warned you. Yeah, I gave you a heads up.
It's like you better invest it wisely though.
Wow.
Because 7 months is gonna be gone like that. Right? So it's the same thing that this country, in so many words, that they're so consumed on their white purity and nationality idea that they're willing to tell everyone else, thank you for your service, but we got it from here. I don't think that's going to end well. Jeez. You feel me? Yes, I don't think that that's going to end well. And it's conjuring and giving me this whole idea, like all of the movies that we watched about the resistance, the underground resistance, Project Stargate to me is giving Skynet, right? Because Oracle said, yo, we already built the biggest computer in the world. Now we're going to build a bigger one because we got the data centers. So OpenAI is the software, Oracle is the hardware, and then SoftBank is the funding. And then the U.S. government is there to say what? We are removing the red tape and the guardrails. What does that mean? They're saying that we no longer have to be ethical in this race because our hands was tied because the Biden administration put in all of these ethical regulations. So we couldn't create the AI that we really wanted. We couldn't weaponize it the way that we really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? We have to be politically correct, but no more. Because political correctness gets thrown out with DEI. Because they are tethered to one another. What does that look like? Oh, this nigga got wig and a lipstick on and I got to call him a woman. Right? Or I may get fired. So I have to arrest my own logic. Right? And I got to play your game in order to make you feel comfortable. And I'm here at this workplace and this dog is competitive anyway. But here I go making you comfortable. So the white boy's like, we don't want to play that game. Especially if we're getting into our level of masculinity that's required for us to roll our sleeves up and get in the pit and fight the way that we need to fight to still be, quote unquote, in number one place. When our statistics tell us by late 2040s, the Hispanics is going to be the number one population here. Right? So you don't think that that's creating a level of psychosis in them where they're scrambling, where they're terrified, where they cannot be nobody's servant, they can't be subservient or number two to anyone because they know what comes with that based on what they did when they had the number one spot? You think that this don't keep them up at night? Wow. You think that this is not going to materialize itself in horror movies coming out of their minds in the next 3 or 4 years? 5 years? That's what Purge was about, right? Them dirty Mexicans got it. So, and then that's a whole nother conversation. So there's posturing that's taking place with this country and Mexico that, again, you might be on the other side of this camera and, because of the chat rooms that you in, you might be gung-ho and think that you G.I. Joe, a real American hero. Don't sign up for that, though. They're lining you up. Don't do it, right? They designated the Migos in them terrorist organization, right? But are they going to be able to enforce that? Chances are they're not. They're not going to be able to go into Mexico. They're not going to be able to do anything with the cartels. You feel me? And all of the posturing, I don't know where it's going to potentially lead to, because if the cartels pop on them and they're forced to respond, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be ugly and disastrous. These are the things that's going to put the gringo back in his place, where he's going to find out the hard way that he's not as tough as he thinks he is, right? And his image cannot maintain all of these, all of these cracks, these broken windows, and these challenges that he ultimately will not be victorious in.
Man.
You know what I mean? So no more than he can set it off on Iran, no more than he can set it off on China, no more than he can set it off on Russia, no more he can set it off on Mexico, right? But we got to bear witness to all of the posturing that's going to come along with that, and the potential disruption to all sorts of economic markets, because these dudes is posturing, because they feel frail, they feel vulnerable, they feel intimidated. You know what I'm saying? Because it was almost a wrap for them, like for real. But now they're fighting and scraping and scrambling to get back in position. You know what I mean? And it's just, it cannot be at the detriment of us as a people, though. Yeah. It cannot be at the detriment. We could have not worked this hard. And again, because niggas is not appreciative of the sacrifices that was made, they don't know the work that went into it. That's right. Because they've appreciated the spoils for it and spat in the face of the people who sacrificed for the spoils that these niggas have taken for granted and have squallered, right? Because niggas are still talking about selling crack and music to this day, and not understanding how these games and these plans was designed. And you're gonna find out the a lot of this stuff when the MLK files come, because I'm in possession of some of these documents from the FBI, and they're like, this nigga was an enemy. He was an enemy. Like, we had to neutralize him. He needed to be neutralized, and then he gets neutralized, and they're like, whoa, we don't know who did that, but we researched it, and we've had this commission and that commission, and they considered us, it was benign neglect. There was a PDF that came out in the mid 60s from Patrick Moynihan, who was a Democrat senator out of New York, called The Negro Family. And in that PDF, he said, look, man, niggas is just too far gone to save. Let's just cut them off now. Wow. Let's just cut the faucet off and let them fend for self, because, no single home family can raise a productive male in this society that's consistent with the type of male that we need to be a competing force on a global stage. So it's like, because this single parent thing is running rampant in the Black community, that's a sign of weakness, and we just need to cut them off. Wow. You know what I mean? And then came, or it probably was already there, like I said, the social programs that came after the civil rights movement that they are dismantling now, from food stamps to WIC, yep, to Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security to some degree, right? And because these are the ones that they're saying don't touch these yet, right? But they're systematically removing, destroying, dismantling. And for us to think that that's not going to impact our communities, we're just not being realistic. Yeah, we've been through a lot. Yeah, we have seen some things, but we're not our great-great-great-grandparents who were part of community where they knew how to farm, yep, where, you know what I'm saying, they didn't have an appetite for the things that we still have appetites. We got parasites we got to feed, right? We got parasites and personas we have to feed. The women got Birkin bags, goddammit. Yeah. So we ain't have those same addictions as these people to say, oh, we can do without. Oh, we gonna pull it together. You niggas don't like each other, right? Maybe least than the colonizer likes you. Because at least he can derive a reason. He's convinced you not to like yourself more than he don't like you. Because it takes a next level type of hate for you not to like you looking at you in the same suit. That's a whole nother type of level of hate. At least he could look at himself and you and say, oh, I don't like us because of our differences. You don't like you and you don't got differences. So you know what I'm saying? Those people are supposed to work together. Those people are supposed to be the ones that's going to save themselves when we have been dealing with rugged individualism in our community since King got assassinated. That's when we chose rugged individualism, right? Because the collective got scattered. They say you drop the head of the snake or and the body crumbles. So the people was riding, the other people got sent to Vietnam, the other people, like my father and them, they was Panthers, but they was on the college campuses. You know what I'm saying? Some of them got neutralized when Nixon came in because of black capitalism. He gave niggas jobs, cut checks. You know what I'm saying? And said, come to the us, they not like us part. Come to the us.
Side. Yep.
Come to this side. Yeah. Yep. Come to the corporate side. Yeah. We got a comfortable position for you. You don't got to be that angry. You know, defeat the system from within. Play the game. For real.
Yeah.
Rugged individualism. And then the work came into the community and niggas was like, you know what? I'm tired of sharing these sneakers with this snotty-nosed nigga. You know what I'm saying? Let me go get 20 of my own. Lock my room. Jeez. I got leaves for every day. I used to share them with my brother. You know what I'm saying? But now I got 30 pairs and he can't get none. Right? I got to get mine. You got to get yours. That's rugged individualism. And hip hop became the vehicle that promoted it around the planet and it was adopted as culture. And now we practice rugged individualism to the degree that the DJ didn't even make it out of the 80s, my nigga. That's how rugged the individualism was. In a record contract, the music company was able to exploit that. Look, get rid of that nigga. Yeah. It's more for you.
I'm only signing you.
Yeah. I don't want to sign you. It's not enough shine for both of y'all. That's why the crews ain't make it. Rugged individualism. It has seeped into our community to a degree that we become them people so much that we don't even know it and be wondering why we can't unify. Because nobody want to share. Where's the glory in that? How can I stunt if I'm sharing?
Everybody's winning it. So who's really winning if everybody's winning? Come on, Blue. Man, brother, you came through. This was truly one of the ones.
Thank
Blue.
you. I had to.
Thank you, brother. It was timely. It was needed, man. We almost at 2 hours, Blue. It didn't even feel like it. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
On the way out, bro, where can everybody follow you?
Me and Red,
all of that.
We got a lecture that's dropping. Probably will be out by the time this is out.
I'm tapping in.
You know what I'm saying? It's called MAGAfest Destiny.
Oof.
MAGAfest Destiny. I'm taking it there. I'm showing the occult reason, why Project Stargate was named what it was, and why does the Aryan why is he so focused on Mars? What is this Mars play? What is this Mars thing about? And just, again, global hegemony to galactic hegemony. There is no end to the colonizer once he feels that he's out the gate with no competition and there's nothing or no one reeling him back in. His quantum race is not just to stop in space. He wants to go beyond.
Wow.
He's the cat is out the box. At Blue Pillar 44, that's on IG at Blue Pillar 44. I'm on Threads. I'm on fan base.
Yep.
I'm on X. I'm on this new social media Web3 system called Hive, where I'm building out community. You get paid to post over there, just like on Fanbase. You get paid to post, but it's Web3. It's on a blockchain, so you can make your own crypto. I mean, it's so interactive. It's the future of Web3. We're doing amazing things with our streaming network, KTL Plus, our OTT channel. ConnectToYourCity.com is where you can find it. We got it like TV Digest. There's 150 channels on that station, all independent, all non-censored. You know what I'm saying? And these are the platforms that we need for the voices such as mine to flourish, you know, in these days and ages. People are going to have to be very vocal, but you're going to have to be coherent. You got to make sense, and you cannot get up there talking gibberish. You should not and you shall not disrespect the brand, right? We are dealing with a level of brand damage that necessitates brand repair, brand restructuring. What is the brand? The brand could be blackness. The brand could be melanin. Whatever you want to call the brand. The brand of black got a black eye. Because we got set up. You know what I'm saying? You know, there was a fight. Somebody put a hood over the other person's head, and they gave a lock to the person fighting them, a sock and a lock. And now they walking around here, you know what I'm saying, looking like Martin in the Tommy Hearns episode. So with all of those things being said, yeah, like, know what you saying before you say it.
That's right.
Be able to back it up, regardless of whether you feel that we're moving into this alternative facts dimension again. Make sure that your facts is on point. Don't allow them to marginalize your talking points and say, oh, now that's woke talking. Are you wokish? Oh, you know what I mean? Because, that it's just too easy for them to unplug and dismiss you and turn your TV off right now. So we got a Super Bowl party at our new venue.
Yes, sir.
488 Edgewood. Brother Rich got the Don Ether God Fest on February 8th at New Black Wall Street. That's going to be a new dimension where people are going to see the conscious community step into the realm of performance art, you know, telling stories and narratives and just being experiential, right? Where people are going to have an experience and walk away with information in a way that they like, yo, I remember it because I experienced it.
That's right. Black
Myth Story Month, because it looks like they're going to do away with Black history.
Yep.
They said they said as government policy at the State Department. So the State Department is, in so many words, that's CIA, right? These are the people that go around the rest of the world and implement American policy. Presidential politics is about domestication of niggers on the domestic front, right? And then they send the Secretary of State abroad, and he represents the president, and they're domesticating Negroes abroad, right? Black and brown folk and things of that nature. So that summarizes, for the most part, what presidential politics, because the European stuff and all of that stuff comes together when they get to their conferences. But they like, yo, keep your foot on the neck of these niggers.
Wow.
So, yeah, they've been waiting for the opportunity. And I think that, once again, these dates and these institutions that us as a people are so undecided on ourselves, they caught us once again with our pants down. We don't want to defend Black History Month. We're not doing nothing with those days. We want to put sexy red on flyers with MLK, right? We don't want to back smack or smack hoofies off of nobody that's violating the elders and the ancestors. So why should they respect it?
Wow.
You think that they not on the timeline? You think that they don't garner none of this data and see how you treat your legends, see how you treat the people that are foundational to your existence, right? You niggas didn't never grow up and walk around with Jesus or none of that stuff, but you can see MLK, right? And I'm just saying, for whatever narrative that they showed you about a savior that you never seen, this man attempted as best as he can with the limited information that he had and the limited access to resources. He still wanted to do something monumental for his people out of a labor of love and compassion for the condition that he's seen his people in. And he used Christianity in a clever way to do it, and you haven't done it. And you haven't done anything since him. But we want to complain and point fingers, and this what you get. You feel me? But for those of us that know that we got to redeem the dream and defend the king, I don't think that that's going to happen on our watch. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what happens when we let go of that. Regardless, I don't agree with everything that he stood for. I don't agree with everything that he said. I'm not nonviolent. But I understand the strategy enough to respect the fact that he did it, it was respected, and he still was a threat. And he still had to be neutralized, right? So the way that you qualify your elders and your ancestors is you attempt to complete their unfinished work. You feel me? If he was a leader of the poor people's campaign, the proletariat, the working class, these are the places that we should be looking. These are the people who need to be defended. These are the people who need to be mobilized and unionized. You feel me? They are destroying the lower class, the middle class. Don't matter shade, creed, race, or none of that. All of them people are getting caught up in the funnel because it was never about none of that stuff to begin with. This is classism on steroids. This is a caste system and classism on steroids. You feel me? So I want to give more insight to that with a lecture that me and Red is doing. Like I said, it'll probably be out by the time this is available. Yeah. And yeah, man, I appreciate the opportunity.
You already know, Blue.
3 milli, always.
Likewise. Hey, same here,
Let's
bro.
keep it going.
Easy call, man. Blue, I appreciate you, brother. You already know, man. For the next one, when it is time, look, all it takes is one call, and that's it. Right. So, man, I appreciate you, brother. Y'all, make sure to tap in, follow Blue. I say this all the time, all my 90s babies especially, man. Blue is like our master teacher, so especially during that era. Thank you, Blue.
KT the ARC degree.
Yep.
Red Pill, Mama
yes, sir.
Pill.
Whole family.
The whole family. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
I seen KT coming over here doing monumental work as well.
Always.
Salute to that brother. I cannot begin to tell y'all, you know, how precious, special he is to the world. There's just things about him.
Pure spirit, man.
Yeah, the people would never know, you know, how magnanimous his walk, his heart, his dedication to family is. Yeah. We would just never know. Yeah, yeah, that part. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Hey, gotta give everybody all y'all flowers.
I want to come back as KT 2.0.
Come on, man. Gotta give everybody all they flowers. So, Blue, man, you already know we gotta give you your flowers. It's needed. Yeah. If you don't hear it enough, you are that dude. So, man, we appreciate you. Thank y'all for always tapping in, showing love. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Peace.
Peace.
Hey.
Can you give me that?